And now, My Thought Chain by Olencelot. Hi, this is Olencelot, and I'm getting ready to do another one of my thought chains for you. This time, I've been thinking about the water and facing some of my fears. Growing up in Idaho, we don't really go to the ocean much. And this is a chain for an anchor. And there's a huge shark that kind of represents one of my greatest fears in life. And why I'm glad I don't really live close to the ocean. I know that a lot of fears that people have are pretty uncalled for, and there's really not a basis for them other than some childhood experiences that make you feel a certain way. And I guess that's kind of what I've been thinking about, and what made me want to do this thought chain to sort some of those things out. When I was a kid, we used to go swimming in this big Olympic-sized swimming pool, and when I had a choice to either swim in the deep end by the diving boards or down by the shallow end, I always went in the shallow end, for obvious reasons. But in the swimming pool, when I was a kid, even when I was swimming in the shallow end, I used to go swimming with my brother, and it was at this university where they had to issue you your swimming shorts. And they were always really, really short, felt like you were wearing 100% polyester underwear, almost like a Speedo, and we used to hate it. My brother, being funny and older than me, he used to like to swim underneath the water where I was swimming, and before he would go under the water, he would go, "Donna, Donna, dun 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 dun," and then he would dive under the water and put his hands up like the dorsal fin of a shark. And then he'd swim up and grab my legs and pull me under the water like a shark was attacking me. And looking back on it, it is pretty funny. But at the time, there was a little bit deep down inside that really did get scared when he did that. And I'm not mad at him about it, and we're good friends. But at the time, whenever I'd get in the deep end, and even sometimes today, I can't help but hear that theme song for Jaws in my head and imagine a big great white shark coming up from the deep end to get me, or maybe like a big alligator or crocodile coming after me. And I always check the deep end of the pool, even today when I go swimming, and sometimes it kind of freaks me out a little bit. But really, I know the real reason why I have problems with getting in the water, especially when I can't see to the bottom. When we were kids, we used to go to my friend's house and we'd swim in a canal. It was an irrigation canal. And we would swim from his house about a half a mile down the road, and then we'd play at a water check, which was like a little waterfall. And so we'd make that float trip and talk the whole way down and goof off in the water while we were swimming. And this one time, I was over kind of in the deep part of the canal where the current was going a little bit faster, because I was getting tired of walking and I wanted to float a little bit more, because the canal never was very deep. And when I was in the deep end, I put my foot out because I ran into what felt like a huge rock under the water. I was kind of startled by this because I didn't remember a rock ever being there when I went down the canal before. And the strange part was, for being a rock, it felt like it had fur on it, but I wasn't quite sure. And so I went to climb over the rock and keep swimming. And what happened was I put my foot up on top of the thing, and when I stepped down, it wasn't a rock. I could feel it kind of pushing inward. But at that point, the current had already carried me on top of this thing. And when I looked down, when all of my weight was up on top of this huge thing under the water, that was right when I really started freaking out. Because in that deep part of the canal, it was right over there where a farmer's field was. And instead of it being a rock, I saw a whole bunch of like fluid and dirty fleshy tissue gush out because my leg broke through the tissue of a dead bloated cow that was under the water. And my foot went all the way inside its guts, almost up to my knee, like above my ankle. And I was seriously freaking out and screaming and yelling, and I pulled my foot out and hurried and ran and got out of the water. And I didn't go swimming in the water for a long time after that, and I'm sure you can understand, but I think that's where my fear of water comes from and why I'm always afraid of sharks, even when I'm just in shallow water. Well, that's the end of my thought chain. Hope you liked it.